Okay, so let's get right to it. Let's talk about something that is very much worth mentioning. Sorry, I just ran for my garage. It's about 20 feet away, so I'm out of breath. But yeah, so the fourth gen Tacoma actually has what you could honestly consider a fatal flaw. And this isn't clickbait, but the rear of your Tacoma, your tow hitch, okay, you think tow hitch. Let's take a look at what a typical second or third gen tow hitch for your truck would look like. Bolts on to the frame, nothing crazy. Many of us have bent up tow hitches in our life before. I never have. I've never ever made a mistake while driving in my entire life. But you see what I'm saying? Tow hitch is something pretty easy to bend. Well, the fourth gen, for some reason, and I don't want to take too much credit for this. I didn't discover it myself. I found out when I was digging around on my favorite Tacoma4g.com website about Tacomas. But the hitch is now integrated into the frame, meaning that it's welded to the frame. And I'll show you here in video. Okay. All right, I'm going to brush this off. So, here's the hitch, and it does go right through the frame here. I don't know how good you can see back there, but it is no longer bolted on. In fact, let me see if I can get some of the welds more visible. Let's see. There we go. There you can see it. So if this got hit and gets pushed in, you're in a pickle. But what does that mean? Okay. A story I had just read of an owner of a 2024 got into a very minor fender bender. He wasn't even in his truck at the time, but someone bumped into the back of his parked truck. Okay. Pretty normal. It bent his tow hitch slightly. Let's see. He had just over 4 millimeters of bend in the tow hitch, and that's not much at all. That's very little. But what that did then was caused his truck to be insurance totaled. And you're thinking, wow, okay, how? Well, Toyota only allows a bend in the frame up to 4 millimeters of frame flex in an accident before an insurance company, before they're going to tell an insurance company that, no, that is going to require a replacement frame. Yes, the entire frame has to be replaced. Okay, that's not much again. 4 millimeters is not much. So the owner of this truck, let me give him credit. His name is Greg Go in Denver on 4G or Tacoma4g.com. I got a call from his insurance adjuster. And basically said, you're kind of SOL because the truck is technically totaled now. You need a new frame. They have to be ordered from Japan, but they're on back order for at least a year. Now, this was posted January 13th of this year. So with, the back ordered parts can be pretty crazy, even for brand new vehicles. It's a logistical supply and demand thing. With Toyota sold 192,000 trucks. You'd think that they could just have parts on hand as needed. And many parts, especially ones that are frequently needed, are back ordered when you're waiting sometimes in excess of 30 days to get one. Well, here's an example of something that is truly monumentous and over a year to get a new frame. Okay, so the truck is now totaled. Now, what does that mean for you if you're an owner? Okay. Your truck can be easily totaled, as we've discussed now. If you bought your truck putting the minimum down payment or nothing down and did not get gap insurance or a type of insurance that will cover the difference in the event of a totaling accident, as simple as such as this, then you could be out thousands of dollars if you, let's say you financed your new Tacoma for $35K and it gets this fender bender and insurance says, well, it looks like this truck is worth $32,000. Yeah, that's already a $3,000 loss right there. So if you already own one and you don't have any kind of gap insurance, it's something you definitely might want to consider to pursue after the fact. I forget, tell me in the comments below, I forget, it's no longer called gap after the fact. I could be wrong, but talk to your insurance provider. Don't get in a situation like this. Something else to know if you're an owner, of course, is your truck can easily be totaled now. If you don't own a Tacoma yet, there's actually a little bit of good news here. And I know that sounds funny, but if you are in the market for a salvage title Tacoma and you see a 2024 salvage title that has pictures of rear end damage, that has an actual bent up tow hitch, which is technically the frame now, you could be getting a very good deal on a salvage title. Now, okay, so my third gen Tacoma, the one that is in most of my videos, is a salvage title. I'll put a picture here in a second. But I want you to keep in mind that salvage title can differ from state to state on difficulty to receive a title and insurance coverage. Now, I've lived with this Tacoma in Hawaii, Colorado, and New York. This is my 2016 third gen salvage title, and it's been zero issues getting it covered with insurance. And in fact, it's never been an issue. And additionally, there are a number of loan or banks that will even give you a loan on a salvage title. My 2016, when I bought it in 2019, I think, I got it for a heck of a deal. It had 35,000 miles on it. It was a salvage title and in Hawaii, but it was fully repaired. I convinced the seller or the repair company that repaired it in Hawaii, who only repairs Toyota Tacomas, to give me in writing a 2-month warranty in case I find anything that goes wrong, which you will probably never get on a salvage title. I also considered it because it was not front-end damage, and most importantly, the airbags had not deployed. So those are my key things. 99 out of 100 times, I do not recommend a salvage title. But in cases like this, if you see a 4th gen that has minor rear end damage, that is going to be marked 15, 20% off of its what it would cost you new, it might be worth considering. Now, on the flip side, the payout for a salvage title vehicle from your insurance provider, if it were to be wrecked, can be anyone's guess. You could really be screwed in the long end there. And then again on that, when as my 2016 insurance rates, they're not any cheaper than a typical vehicle's rates. And I have gone through, let's see, I've had USA, State Farm, Root. I don't know if Root exists anymore, but I've settled back on the State Farm. They seem to be the best for me. The insurance monthly premium is not going to be any cheaper than if it were a non-salvage title. So, long story short there, I'm basically saying if you're trying to save money on a 4th gen and you don't mind carrying a salvage title vehicle for something as minor as a bent tow hitch, which is now technically part of the frame, it's something definitely to consider. So if you already own a 4th gen like me and a couple 100,000 other Americans and Canadians, and a few in Mexico, etc., it's something to 100% consider that you can total your vehicle quite easily. Which is a bit of a bummer. I would really like Toyota to fix this in the 2026 models going forward. I think it's a rather large deal. Otherwise, if you don't own one yet and you want a cheap deal on it, you might want to start going on websites that show salvage title vehicles and look up specifically 2024 or even 2025 now Tacomas, and you might find worthy deals on them. So I can talk all day. If you have more questions about salvage title vehicles, join the Discord or comment below, or regardless, comment your thoughts below. But this is definitely a true issue with the 4th gen, that it's actually one of the first non-clickbait issues I've seen for the 4th gen that I think Toyota should address or the owner should be fully aware of. I think I've talked about that as much as I can. Again, something to consider for the owner of the truck and something to consider if you are wanting to buy one, or maybe you don't want to buy one now. Again, I've never been here to convince you to buy a Tacoma or not. I just love these trucks, and this 2024 is my 6th Tacoma now. I've had 6 across 3 different gens, and I've always loved these trucks. In fact, across 6 Tacomas and hundreds of thousands of miles, I've changed one alternator that went bad. It was a 2005 2.7. Loved that truck. And that is the only thing I've ever had go bad on any of my Tacomas, to include my 2016, which is a salvage title that you see in these videos all the time. So I'll stop rambling. Tell me your thoughts below in the comments. I think, just bear that in mind when you go shopping for a 4th gen Tacoma, or possibly any other vehicle that might integrate the trailer hitch into the frame now. I'm sure it was a cost-effective move for Toyota, but in the long run, I don't think it was the most intelligent move. So, yeah, that's about it, and thanks for hanging out. I'll see y'all next time on Team Oil Drop.